Business with Stephen now. Going to start with the price of oil. Finally seeing some signs of recovery.
Yeah, that's right. It happened in American trading on Monday that we saw the Brent crude index rise for the first time after its 10% fall last week. It went to over $72 a barrel. It's now slightly less than that. You can see it's come down slightly in trading today, but that is a pretty drastic recovery on an oil price that's been falling almost consistently since June of this year. So it does represent a big change in that market. It's also something that was having an effect on the currency markets, particularly for the Russian ruble, which hit a record low against the dollar on Monday. Last year, Russia earned half its budget revenue from oil and gas, and it's dependent on that money to fund its spending. The plummeting value of the ruble will be putting pressure on the central bank there to reintroduce strict controls. Value up slightly today as the oil price bounces.
Comes as well as Russia scraps a planned gas pipeline that was to bring supplies to Europe without passing through Ukraine.
Moscow said the $40 billion South Stream project was being abandoned because of EU objections. Instead, Vladimir Putin announced a new deal to sell gas to Turkey at a discounted rate. Russia's state-owned Gazprom is now looking into the possibility of building a pipeline under the Black Sea to Turkey.
Let's have a regular look at the market, shall we?
Well, that oil price change is having an impact on the stock markets today as well. Oil and gas producers among the biggest gainers on the European markets. One example, Tullow Oil in London, they're up 2.6%. Here in Paris, shares in the defence manufacturer Dassault up around 2.5% after reports that a deal to sell its Rafale jets to India would be concluded soon. It would be a welcome boost to the French aviation industry when that's announced. Over in Asia, Japan still managing to finish in the green despite Moody's downgrading the country's economy as well as five of its biggest banks. The star performer in Asia, though, is the Shanghai Composite, up over 3%, mainly driven by bank shares.
Moving to West Africa now, the World Bank has given its latest economic forecast for the countries that have been affected by Ebola.
And the news isn't great. The World Bank cut its growth forecast for Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea. It says the outbreak of the virus has cost them more than $2 billion in lost income. Let's just see how those figures compare with the World Bank's growth figures for last year. All of the countries have seen a dramatic change in the figures for their growth. The World Bank actually predicting a recession now for both Sierra Leone and Guinea in 2015. That's a pretty dramatic change. They're the figures there now. The pretty dramatic change in what Sierra Leone in particular, their growth of 20% last year and -2% the forecast for next year.
France next, a major event in the aerospace industry getting underway today.
Yeah, it's a sector that's managed to escape the economic downturn here in France. Until now, at least, it employs around 130,000 people here in France, mainly in the area around Airbus's base in Toulouse, in the southwest of the country. But up to 10,000 jobs could be at risk in the sector as worries grow about its future. From Toulouse, Chris Bachman reports.
This small French company has a niche market producing seats for aircraft manufacturers like Airbus and Dassault. Some of the hand-stitched seat cushions made here go into VIP and corporate jets, a field that has been booming in the emerging economies. But regional political tension is starting to bite.
On the VIP market, what we have is the programs are going down a little bit due to the activity on the Russian market, a bit more tense due to political reasons, and also on the Chinese market, tense internally because the Chinese government just asks its rich people to just quiet a little bit on their buying of corporate jets.
In fact, the latest brand new aircraft to emerge from the Airbus assembly lines, the A350, is likely to be the last new airplane to be built for the next 15 to 20 years. That means tough times ahead for thousands of aerospace engineers with no new projects. One solution, adapting their skills to other fields, according to one industry lobby group.
It means that, especially for R&D engineers, we'll have to find a way to put them on other business and other sources because there is absolutely a difficulty in front of us in engineering.
Small French contractors that rely on the likes of Airbus are now coming under pressure to merge with rivals to innovate and look for new export markets. They're facing a battle to stay competitive as the aerospace industry shifts down a gear.
And finally, a really intriguing story here. Sony trying to find out who is behind a leak of its latest movies.
So there was a cyber attack on Sony's filmmaking division last week, which led to 5 unreleased movies being leaked online. The FBI is among those investigating this attack, but fingers are being pointed at possible North Korean involvement, and that's because Sony Pictures is making a film that's ruffled some feathers in North Korea. It's called The Interview. It's a comedy about 2 journalists that interview Kim Jong-un. Pyongyang made an official complaint about this film to both the United Nations and the United States earlier this year. When asked a North Korean government spokesperson about this cyber attack, their answer was to wait and see.
We will. We'll wait and see.
Exactly.
We'll find out one day, I'm sure. Stephen, thanks a lot. Stephen with Business.